From the biggest pop star on the planet to the center of a scandal that would follow him for the rest of his life, this is the story of the 1993 allegations that changed everything for Michael Jackson. And it all started, believe it or not, with a broken-down car. In May 1992, Jackson's vehicle broke down near a rental agency owned by a man named David Schwartz. Schwartz recognized him and offered him a free rental on one condition: call his stepson Jordan, a 13-year-old superfan, on the phone. Jackson agreed. That one phone call turned into a friendship. And that friendship turned into something the whole world would be talking about a year later. By early 1993, Jordan and his mother, June, were regularly staying at Jackson's Neverland ranch. Then they started traveling with him to Las Vegas, to Morocco, to Paris. According to the family, Jordan and Jackson would often share a room during these trips. On the surface, it looked like an unusual but harmless friendship between a global superstar and one of his biggest fans. But behind the scenes, someone was starting to ask questions. That someone was Jordan's father, Evan Chandler, a dentist who was already at odds with his ex-wife June. As Jordan's trips with Jackson piled up and started eating into his own custody time, Evan grew suspicious, and he didn't stay quiet about it. In secretly recorded phone calls, Chandler threatened to destroy Jackson, saying he'd hired the nastiest lawyer he could find to go after him. This wasn't whispered in private. Jackson's own attorneys had the tapes. In July 1993, Chandler took his son to a doctor and asked him directly whether Jackson had ever touched him. Jordan said yes. From there, things moved fast. On August 17, 1993, the Los Angeles Police Department opened a criminal investigation. Officers searched Jackson's properties. Investigators interviewed children who knew him. The story broke publicly that same month, and just like that, the most famous entertainer in the world was the subject of a child abuse investigation. Jackson didn't hide from it. In December 1993, he went on live television and denied the allegations directly to the public. But the toll was already showing. He canceled the remaining dates of his Dangerous World Tour, citing his health, and checked into a treatment program. The King of Pop, the man who just headlined the Super Bowl halftime show, was suddenly canceling shows and disappearing from the spotlight. Then, in September 1993, the Chandler family filed a civil lawsuit against Jackson, seeking tens of millions of dollars. And here's where it gets messy. Behind closed doors, the people building the case against Jackson were falling apart themselves. Evan Chandler got into a physical altercation with Schwartz over how the potential settlement money would be split before either of them had received a cent. It was a lawsuit born out of a family already at war with itself. For months, the case dragged through depositions and legal maneuvering. Then, on January 25, 1994, Jackson agreed to settle. Reports on the exact number vary. Some say around $15 million, others put it closer to $22 or $23 million, but all agree it was a massive payout. And here's the detail that gets lost in the retelling. The settlement was never an admission of guilt, and it didn't end the criminal investigation. Under the law, a civil settlement can't make a criminal case disappear. Prosecutors kept digging. But months later, they announced they wouldn't file charges, citing insufficient evidence and an alleged victim who was no longer willing to testify. No trial, no verdict. Just a settlement, a canceled investigation, and a reputation that would never fully recover. For the rest of his career, Jackson would be shadowed by the same two words: the allegations. Every album, every performance, every headline came with them attached. And this wasn't the end of the story. Years later, in 2005, Jackson would face a second, far more public set of criminal charges, this time going all the way to a full trial. He was acquitted on all counts. But by then, the damage from 1993 had already reshaped how the world saw him forever.